So here is the latest update about Ashley Janae and Joe McCann, and I must say, things are getting intense. The Deputy Director of Criminal Investigations and the locals on the ground have been dropping new information, and I need you to pay attention to this part because witnesses have now come forward, and what they are saying changes the shape of this story entirely. Witnesses at the Zuri Zanzibar resort told investigators that from the moment this couple checked in on April 6th, something was already wrong. The arguments did not start on April 8th. They did not start with one bad night. According to those witnesses, the quarreling began almost immediately after arrival and continued across multiple days. Other guests heard it. Hotel staff witnessed it. Multiple people at that resort were tracking this situation before anything had gone critically wrong. That is not a small detail. That is a documented pattern confirmed by investigators on the ground. The public account from Zanzibar authorities framed April 8th as the night things escalated. What witnesses are telling investigators is that April 8th was not the beginning. It was the end of something that had been building since the day they walked through the door. On the evening of April 8th, the argument became what police described as explosive. Volatile enough that hotel management did not simply ask the couple to lower their voices, they intervened. They moved Joe McCann out of the shared villa and placed him in a separate room, an 8 to 10 minute walk away, citing safety. That phrase is doing significant work. Hotels do not cite safety when a couple argues about what to have for dinner. They cite safety when what is happening has crossed a line that staff cannot ignore. Before the separation was complete, Ashley called her mother. She said she and Joe had argued. She said they had been moved to separate rooms. Her mother, Yolanda Endres, later told journalists that nothing in that call indicated her daughter was afraid. She sounded frustrated. She sounded like someone managing a difficult moment. She did not sound like someone who was in danger. That call ended. Her mother went about her evening. It was the last time they spoke. 2 to 3 hours after the separation, a hotel worker found Ashley Janae unresponsive in a closet with a belt around her neck. She was still alive. She was pulled out of that villa and rushed to a local hospital. And here is the detail that Police Commander Benedict Mapujira confirmed publicly. Resort staff had already grown so concerned about Ashley's condition in the hours after the separation that they had contacted authorities before she was even found. They were already worried. They were already making calls, and still nobody reached her in time. According to Joe McCann's account, as reported to investigators, he returned to Ashley's room at some point that evening with resort security staff, and that is when she was discovered. The exact timing of that return, what prompted it, how long after the separation it occurred, and what the sequence of events was between the separation and the moment she was found, is precisely what investigators have been questioning him about. Ashley did not die in that villa. She died in hospital. On April 9, 2026, she was pronounced dead. That same hospital report noted an unidentified mark around her neck. Zanzibar police have stated publicly that preliminary findings indicate suicide. The official autopsy was completed on April 15th. Its results have not been released. A hospital document says strangulation and suffocation. Police say suicide. An unidentified mark sits between those two accounts and has not been publicly explained. What that footage does not show is what happened inside that villa in the 2 to 3 hours between the separation and the finding. That window, who was where, what was happening, and how a woman who called her mother sounding frustrated ended up unconscious in a closet is the question this entire investigation is built around. Yolanda Endres received a call from Joe McCann the day after her daughter's argument with him. He told her Ashley had done something to herself. He told her she was being taken to the hospital. He told her she was stable. And then he told her it had happened 11 hours ago. 11 hours. Ashley had been found in that villa, had been rushed to hospital, and had been fighting for her life. And the man who was with her on that trip, the man who was supposed to be the person most invested in her survival, waited 11 hours before calling her mother. Endres described that moment in an interview that has since been watched and shared widely. She asked him when it had happened. She asked him where, and he gave her the timeline, a timeline in which 11 hours had passed between whatever happened in that villa and the moment he decided to make the call. After that call, he went silent. The next update the family received did not come from McCann. It came from the hotel. Staff at the Zuri Zanzibar called the Robinson family to tell their daughter had died. Not her fiancé, not the man who was supposed to be the person most invested in her survival, the hotel. Harry Robinson has spoken publicly and without hesitation. His daughter was halfway around the world. He needed to know where she was, who she was with, and whether she was okay. The man who was with her gave him none of that for 11 hours, and when the call finally came, it was to say she was in the hospital, not to say what happened, not to take accountability for a timeline that made no sense, and not to follow up when she died. The follow-up came from the hotel. "The fiancé did not reach out to us at all," Harry Robinson said. "We found out from the hotel. That's devastating." McCann has not made a public statement. He has not spoken to journalists. He has not, according to the family, reached out to them in any meaningful way since that single call to Ashley's mother, the call that arrived 11 hours after it should have. What you just watched is a father describing how he found out his daughter was dead, not from the man who was supposed to love her most, from a hotel on an island thousands of miles away. That is not a procedural detail. That is a human reality that sits at the center of why this family does not accept the official account of what happened to Ashley Janae. Here is exactly where things stand based on everything that has been publicly confirmed. Joe McCann is still in Zanzibar. His passport has been held by Tanzanian investigators. He is being questioned as a witness. He has not been arrested. He has not been charged with any crime. Deputy Director of Criminal Investigations, Zuberi Chenbera, confirmed on April 14th that McCann continues to be questioned and that the investigation is ongoing. Under Tanzanian law, holding a witness's travel documents while questioning proceeds is a standard investigative tool. It means he is not free to leave, not that he has been found guilty of anything. The autopsy was completed on April 15th. Ashley's father, Harry Robinson, traveled to Washington, D.C. to press the U.S. government directly for information, and those efforts produced confirmation that the autopsy had been finalized. What they did not produce was the results. As of the time of this video, the autopsy findings have not been publicly released. The investigation is described as ongoing. The family has not been given the results. Tanzanian authorities have not released Ashley's body to her family. Harry Robinson, Yolanda Endres, and Ashley's sister, Alyssa, are waiting in the United States for a body that has not come home. The hotel surveillance footage has been raised publicly by Ashley's father as the piece of evidence that could resolve the key questions about the timeline. "There are cameras everywhere at a resort," he said. "The footage will match the timeline." Whether investigators have obtained and reviewed that footage and what it shows has not been publicly confirmed. The U.S. Embassy in Dar es Salaam dispatched a coroner to assist with the autopsy. The U.S. State Department has confirmed it is monitoring the case. The Robinson family has engaged legal representation in the United States and is working with the State Department to obtain further information. The case has been covered by the BBC, The Guardian, CBS News, ABC News, and major U.S. television networks. None of that coverage has produced an official determination of cause of death. None of it has produced an arrest. What it has produced is a family that has done everything publicly available to them: press conferences, media interviews, a Washington, D.C. trip, a GoFundMe, and a public statement calling their daughter's death suspicious, and still does not have the answers that a mother and father have every right to have about how their child died. Ashley's family has been clear, consistent, and specific about what they want. They want the hotel surveillance footage reviewed and its contents accounted for. They want the autopsy results. They want Ashley's body returned to them so they can bury their daughter. They want a full investigation, and they want answers to a timeline that, as they have put it publicly, simply does not look right. There are things in the public record that support why it does not look right. The official suicide account from Zanzibar police sits alongside a hospital report that listed the cause of death as cerebral hypoxia by strangulation and suffocation, with an unidentified mark on Ashley's neck. The family has said that combination, the mark, the mechanism of death, and the overall circumstances, does not align with suicide. They have not accused anyone directly. They have said it needs to be properly investigated before any conclusion is accepted. The witnesses who told investigators that the couple had been quarreling frequently from the moment they arrived have given the investigation a context that was not part of the initial public account. This was not a single argument on a single night. This was a pattern. Days of documented conflict at a resort full of security cameras and staff, culminating in a separation that was described by police as related to safety concerns and ending with a woman found unresponsive in her villa 2 to 3 hours later. And then the 11 hours. Whatever explanation exists for why McCann waited 11 hours to call Ashley's mother, it has not been publicly offered. He has been silent. The investigators are asking the questions. The family is waiting for the answers. Ashley Janae was 31 years old. She had just gotten engaged. She had just turned 31. She had just posted that she was exactly where she needed to be. And 4 days after checking into a resort to celebrate the beginning of what should have been a new chapter, she was gone. Found in a closet, transported to a hospital, dead the following morning. Her body still in Tanzania, while her family waits in New Jersey for answers that have not come. Her mother said it plainly. She was loved. She was not going to be discarded and forgotten about. And a growing community of people who followed her online, who watched her build her life in public, who celebrated her engagement with her 3 days before everything changed, they are making sure that does not happen. This is an active investigation. Joe McCann has not been charged with any crime. He is being questioned as a witness. The autopsy results have not been released. No official conclusion has been reached. Everything in this video is drawn from verified public reporting and official statements from Tanzanian law enforcement. None of it is a verdict. What it is the story as the public record currently tells it. From the check-in on April 6th to the witnesses describing days of arguments. From the explosive confrontation on the evening of April 8th to the separation and what happened in those 2 to 3 hours after. From the phone call Ashley made to her mother, the last time she described her situation in her own voice, to the call her mother received 11 hours later that told her something had happened. To the call after that from the hotel telling the family their daughter was dead. Subscribe if you want to be here when the autopsy results come out. When the investigation reaches a conclusion, when the answers the family has been waiting for are finally given. Share this video if Ashley's story deserves to be seen. And drop your thoughts in the comments. This case needs eyes on it, and it needs them to stay. Ashley Janae deserves the truth. Her family deserves the truth. And the people who loved her online are not going anywhere until they get it.